Hello, my impatiens. How are you doing? How art thou? So, what is going on with you? What is going on with you? So, I feel like my mother is a sexual sadist, and so is my stepfather, who got off sexually from my suffering. I feel like they pharmacologically abused me. I mean, apparently the HIV scare was not premeditated and no one had nefarious intentions. Apparently, the same is true for the mega regimen of psychiatric medications. No one was pharmacologically abusing me. No one was a monster behind their mask. Correct? If the opposite is true, confess. But everyone wanted to help me, not hurt me. I mean, I guess just accept this and believe them. Lately, I feel like everyone is lying and has betrayed me. But realize that's psychosis. If it's not psychosis, take accountability and tell me the truth. But they are telling me the truth. I don't know who to trust, who I can genuinely believe. Did anybody have good intentions? Even the psychopharmacologist, Dr. Copland, who claims he never had nefarious intentions. Come on. That much medication was ridiculous, and we all know it. Somebody says, I'm so tired of Christine's frigid body language. body language. It's downright abusive, and she doesn't say I love you. Yeah, she's really nasty to me. She's very cold. She stonewalls me. She never says I love you. She never hugs me. She's abusive. My mother's a sadistic and abusive monster, basically. Major of India says, yeah, I can see that. No, she really is. Swear to God, my mother's a sadistic and abusive monster. But you know what? Just take accountability and, just get independent. She's sadistic and abusive. And she probably got off sexually for my suffering. I go on about it all the time because it's true. Somebody says, if you don't like it, then leave. That's true. It could be worse. I could be homeless. I could be in the psychiatric hospital. But frankly, I was pharmacologically abused by my mother, and she was getting off sexually for my suffering, and so was my stepfather. It's just obvious. It's just reality. I was not delusional. They were gaslighting me. They were victim blaming me. Somebody says, how do you know she was getting off sexually to your suffering? I know they say when you feel the constraints of your life, you blame your parents by bringing charges of sexual perversity. I can't prove what her intentions were. I can't prove that when my mother and stepfather were having sex, they were getting off to my pain and suffering, how they transformed a happy kid into a traumatized mental patient. I suspect it, but yeah, obviously I don't have any evidence they were getting off sexually to my pain and suffering. But somebody says, toggle the emotional switch to off. You're in an emotional tsunami right now. So calm down. Even if there's truth to the fact that your mother's an abusive monster, your mother and stepfather were not sexual fiends and sexual sadists who were getting off sexually from pharmacologically abusing you. So calm down. Calm down. Their intentions were good, apparently. Well, all right. Let's just change the topic. Let's get my mind off my mother here. No, my mother is just an abusive monster. She's just an abusive monster. I'm the passive one in this relationship. I'm the one who has none of the power. I believe, especially from 2005 to 2011, they were getting off sexually for my suffering. Maybe at their age now, but I believe she's a sadist. Somebody says, you have the power to make your mother dinner tonight. Frankly, there's going to be no court case where I lock my mother and stepfather in jail. So just relax. My mother never says she loves me. You know, somebody says maybe you need to take medications to clear your mind up. She's cold. She's abusive. She never hugs me. She never says she loves me. She's just a nasty cunt, basically. But that doesn't mean she got off sexually from torturing me. She's just a nasty bitch, basically. But that doesn't mean she got off sexually. Yeah, let's change the topic. This is frankly, I'm in a little bit of a tsunami because I just can't get along with my mother anymore. So, Mrs. Obviously, I'm dependent. It's hostile dependency. You know, my hands are tied behind my back. I'm dependent on my mother. She's the sadistic one in the relationship, and I'm the abused, passive one, the masochistic one. But let's change the topic. Somebody says you should try a new art medium this week. What type of art medium do you recommend I try? What do you recommend I do in the art class today? I could do some 4 panels. Yeah, that's a good idea. The art class isn't today. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tonight I'm going to NAMI. It's karaoke night at NAMI. So Mrs. Macaroni is a good thing that you could do art with. You could glue it to a piece of paper. Gecko Kuji says, I watched The Mom and the Wild Man's Rusty, and your mama seemed nice. I see. I got emotionally triggered by her, and I went into a tsunami that she was a sadistic monster. But some people had contrarying opinions that she seemed really nice. So I guess it's all a matter of perception. Maybe I view my mother as a sadistic and abusive cunt, but you like her, you know. So somebody says she's a frigid witch. I don't know. Just let's get off the topic of my mother. Let's get off the topic of my mother. She obviously abused me. She obviously got off from hurting me. It's just what she did. And there's going to be no court case. She deserves karma. She deserves to be locked in prison, but it's not going to happen. Somebody says, let's say hypothetically speaking, your mother got locked in prison for abusing you. Let's say she got locked in prison for abusing you, Andrew. I mean, you're dependent on her. You know, you would be homeless or in the psychiatric hospital. Let's say the FBI came to the house. They said, "You're right, Andrew. Your mother's a sexual sadist. Your stepfather too. You've been abused. You've been sexually tortured." Let's say it's all true, hypothetically speaking. And my parents got locked in prison for the remainder of their lives. What would I do? I don't have any money. You know, I would be homeless or in the psychiatric hospital. So I'm dependent on them, you know. I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if the police and the FBI like raided the house and they locked my mother and stepfather in prison and, you know, they said, Andrew, you're right. You're the victim. You're like, you're the victim of, you know, you were like Stockholm syndrome. Let's say that was. Like what would I do? I don't know how to function as an independent adult. I wouldn't be flying off to Hollywood superstardom. I would probably be homeless or in the psychiatric hospital. So that's something to keep in mind. You can fight with your mother, but frankly, if it wasn't for her, I'd be institutionalized somewhere. So, so for what it's worth, I have her to thank that I'm sitting in solitude creating social media. I mean, I have freedom. She's just cold and unloving and nasty and bitchy. I mean, that doesn't mean she got off sexually. That doesn't mean her intentions were bad. She's just somebody says you isolate yourself too. Somebody says your mother is doing her best. Somebody says all of the abuse seems to be what you presume to be true. Your mother hasn't done actual abuse to you. Somebody says you're cold to your mother too. Milky says I think your mother is out to get you. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Just calm down. My mother's okay. So she says, is it possible to have a nice relationship with your mother? I mean, actually, believe it or not, Mother's Day yesterday wasn't too bad. We actually got along and did artwork together, and we didn't fight. And that was I don't know why. We just happened to have a nice day yesterday for whatever reason. Maybe it was the fact that it was Mother's Day, or maybe it's just a good day. But lately, it seems like we fight a lot. Somebody says your mother is worn out. She's tired. Hey, son, how you doing? Somebody says somebody says the life insurance money is going to your brother, or most likely then Shanae. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even care. Um, Somebody says your mother loves you very much. To be honest with you, don't depend on my mother's leaving me money. Don't depend on my mother keeping me in the will. Instead, try to depend on making money for myself so I can be independent. Somebody says, do you get off to your mother suffering? I feel like she's not suffering, and I feel like I'm the one who's always suffering. So to answer your question, no. uh I feel like I'm just always suffering, and I feel like I'm in hell on earth. So I don't feel like my mother's suffering. So he says, your mother is suffering as well. Yeah, I definitely am suffering. That I mean, my suffering is very real. I mean, there's no question. So he says, what's my dream job? I would like to be in movies. I'd like to be an artist and a performer and a comedian. But obviously, anything like that really takes a lot of work. I would like to be a performer. I don't really. Somebody says a rock superstar. I don't know how to play music, but I definitely want to develop my songs into some kind of album at some point too. So I kind of want to be, a rock star, metaphorically speaking, like a movie star or like a superstar. Somebody says you could, but you're 40 years old. They say, better late than never. I'm still able-bodied. I'm still walking around. I still got a lot of intensity to me. I'm still very creative. I'm still very imaginative. I'm still very suave and cool. And I'm not in a nursing home. I know they tend to give those jobs to people in their early 20s, but I'm still, realistically speaking, not crippled in a fucking nursing home at 99 years old. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I can do it now. You know, I mean, really. I mean, I don't have to be, on working for Disney Universal. Like, I can create something now. You know, I mean, I have the ability. It's just do it. You know. So he says your music isn't topping the charts, but I'm having a lot of fun creating it. Somebody says, well, I mean, somebody says you do what you're doing all day, every day. You know what? The person who perseveres and practices and does it over and over again tends to be the person who succeeds. You know, I mean, who's gonna be the one who actually finally gets success? The person who says, "Oh, everybody's telling me not to do it, I give up," or the person who's practicing all day, every day, over and 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 over again till they get picture perfect. Frankly, the person that's practicing over and over and over again. So I mean, even though you're telling me to give up, even though you're telling me I suck, even though you're telling me it's never going to happen, I'm not giving up, and I'm obsessed. So I mean, so for what it's worth, you know, if you tell somebody to give up, I mean, yeah, maybe there could be something that could change my whole, like if my mother died, for example, because a lot of this is me getting enabled too. I still don't think I would give up, but obviously I would probably need a job at a certain point. Somebody says it's like OCD. It's over and over and over and over and over again. They say, Andrew, give up. I'm never going to give up. Somebody says, go back to bussing tables. You got to wait tables. You got to be a waiter for survival, Andrew. Somebody says, you know what would take your mind off your mother and put money in your pocket? Flipping burgers. So he says, most famous people had regular jobs first, Yeah, don't think I should be a pop superstar or a movie star. Instead, get a realistic job and don't compare myself to these rich, famous celebrities. Just compete with myself yesterday, make myself better than I was yesterday. Because right now I'm in hell on earth, so. So I went to the dermatologist today. Anybody want me to talk about that? I showed him the cysts on my groin. Anybody want me to discuss that? So I asked him, obviously he says, they're cysts. I asked him, why do they develop? He says, it could be just genetic. He doesn't really know the reason. I asked if it has to do with the running and the underwear I'm wearing. He says he's not really sure. It's not genital warts. I asked, can you prescribe any medications or creams to remove them? He's like, no, he would have to cut into them and try to drain the pus from them. But because it's not medically necessary, the insurance, it would not be covered by insurance. So, it would cost a lot of money to do. So, I'm like, cosmetically, it looks unattractive, but, realistically, I wasn't about to pay for that, out of pocket for him to drain these cysts. And I didn't have skin cancer, which is good too. So I don't have skin cancer, but the cysts on my groin, you got to pay out of pocket. It's not covered by insurance. So he says, do it yourself. Cut into your genitals yourself, Andrew. Seems like a recipe for disaster, Rusty, but okay. No, but I'm not going to do that. Somebody says, this is not helping the dating scene much, Andrew. This is not helping the dating scene much. Let me get some water here. La 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 la. I got the podiatrist today at 4 p.m. And I got NAMI karaoke. Any suggestions for some NAMI karaoke songs? So he says, you seem to know a lot of Beach Boys. Maybe you could do a Beach Boys song. That's true. Maybe I could do a Beach Boys song. So he says, do Crazy Town Butterfly. That's an idea. All right, guys. Any last questions here, or should I hit the old dusty trail? I'm glad you guys were here. I mean, I probably should just keep this in therapy, but I'm glad you guys were here and were able to help me work through my emotional tsunami about my mother. I was pretty emotional. I was pretty, metaphorically speaking, ready to tear my hair out. But talking to you guys really helped with that. And now I'm calm and I see, all right, she's just imperfect, but she loves me in her own way. I was just in a real emotional tsunami about my mother and I was like ready to throw a fucking tantrum. But now I'm a lot calmer, so that's a good thing. Somebody says, do an hour. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about, you know? Somebody says, very good, Andrew, in regards to your mother. You toggled out of that very well. Rusty says, talk about your toes. Yeah, I'm getting my toe checked out, and I'm going to see a podiatrist and see what he thinks. So he says, the emotional tsunami will be back soon enough. It's toggle back and forth. That's the problem. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I got to try to control my emotions and try not to go into these tsunamis. But when your mother's being cold and nasty and bitchy, I mean, you can't help but want to just, come unglued. But, maybe try to focus on getting a life in the real world, getting a girlfriend, getting independent, and not focus on my elderly parents so much. Gecko Cujo says, amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Somebody says, when you start thinking bad about your mother, just look around your apartment. You'd be in a hospital instead of your apartment if she didn't love you. That's right. Life would be very different if I didn't have my mother. I would be hospitalized or homeless. So, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. How will I be independent? Obviously, one step towards independence is getting a job, developing hobbies, getting a girlfriend, getting some money. These are good. These are good steps in getting independent. So she says a girlfriend maybe, but no job, Andrew. Hey, it's never too late. It's never too late. So he says during karaoke, it would be good if you did some deep cuts by Pearl Jam too. Son says you could work in a warehouse. You do some warehouse kind of work. Just nothing with the general public. So yeah, I'm running out of money too. You know, I've like $100 to last me to the end of the month. I have like no money too, so I really need to get some money somehow. How can I get some money, guys? Anybody want to buy my artwork? I really need some money. I guess I gotta conserve my money to the end of the month, or I could charge it. I got $1,500 in credit card. I could get myself into credit card debt, but that's a bad idea. Just charge it. Charge myself into debt. Charge myself into debt. So he says credit cards stink. So he says maybe start an OnlyFans. Hey, dude, I actually am on OnlyFans, and nobody wants to see the fruits of my body on there. Nobody wants to pay to see the fruits of my body. My OnlyFans is free, and nobody wants to see it. So you got to keep that in mind. I don't even get people who want to check me out for free. You know. Gecko Cujo says their loss, Andrew. Their loss. Ah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to get going and listen to some music here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you all again soon. Peace out.